You have arrived in Stockholm, Sweden, very beautiful, a capital city with historical buildings and nice culture. Let's reveal the top 10 things to do in Stockholm and smash that subscribe button. Top 10, we're diving into history at the Vasa Museum. Picture this, a massive warship fully decked out and ready for battle, sinking just minutes into her maiden voyage. The year was 1628, and the Vasa, pride of the Swedish Navy, went down in the harbor. But here's the kicker, the Vasa didn't just disappear into the depths. After over 300 years underwater, it was salvaged in remarkably good condition. And that, my friends, is what makes the Vasa Museum so incredible. It's like stepping back in time, coming face to face with this monumental vessel. You can practically hear the echoes of the crew, feel the weight of history on the creaking timbers. The sheer scale of the ship, the intricate carvings, the stories whispered within its wooden walls. It's an experience that will stay with you. And hey, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about 17th century shipbuilding while you're at it. Top 9, welcome to Skansen, an open-air museum that's basically Sweden. Imagine this, over 150 historic buildings, plucked straight from their original locations and reassembled here to create a living, breathing village. We're talking charming wooden houses, a bustling town square, even a working bakery where you can snag some fresh-baked bread. But the best part? You won't just be looking at history, you'll be living it. Skansen is full of costumed interpreters, folks who are basically time travelers in character, ready to show you what life was like back in the day. You can chat with a blacksmith hammering away at his forge, peek over the shoulder of a weaver crafting intricate tapestries, or even try your hand at some traditional crafts yourself. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even catch a traditional folk dance or musical performance. Skansen isn't just about the past. It's also home to a zoo, showcasing the incredible diversity of Nordic wildlife. We're talking majestic reindeer, playful otters, and maybe even a glimpse of the elusive lynx. We're going to pace ourselves, soak it all in, and maybe even grab some Swedish meatballs from one of the traditional restaurants. This is a gem in Stockholm, Sweden. Top 8, get ready to step back in time because we're about to explore Gamla stan, Stockholm's enchanting Old Town. Imagine this, narrow, winding streets paved with cobblestones, colorful buildings dating back to the 13th century, and a vibe that just screams old-world charm. This is Gamla stan, the beating heart of Stockholm. Let your feet guide you through the labyrinthine alleys, duck into hidden courtyards, and discover the unexpected around every corner. You might stumble upon a cozy cafe tucked away on a quiet street, a quirky antique shop overflowing with treasures, or maybe even a secret garden begging to be explored. And speaking of treasures, Gamla stan is a shopper's paradise. From traditional Swedish crafts and souvenirs to high-end boutiques and vintage finds, there's something here to tempt every taste and budget. But Gamla stan isn't just about pretty buildings and shopping sprees. So, as you wander through this captivating district, take a moment to soak it all in, because after Gamla stan we're diving into the world of art. Top 7. We're stepping into the world of modern and contemporary art at the Moderna Museet, one of Europe's leading museums dedicated to all things avant-garde. From Picasso to Warhol, Matisse to Dali, the museum boasts an impressive collection of big names and iconic works. But it's not just about the household names. The Moderna Museet is also a champion of emerging artists, constantly pushing boundaries and sparking conversations with thought-provoking exhibitions. And hey, even if you're not a die-hard art enthusiast, the Moderna Museet is worth a visit for its stunning architecture alone. The building itself is a work of art with its sleek lines, expansive windows, and prime location overlooking the water. Plus, there's just something about being surrounded by so much creativity that's contagious, you know? You might find yourself inspired, challenged, or maybe even a little bit confused. But hey, that's all part of the experience, right? And who knows? You might just discover your new favorite artist or stumble upon a piece that speaks to you on a whole other level. But for now, let's leave the museum behind and embark on a different kind of artistic journey, a scenic boat tour through the Stockholm archipelago. Top 6. We're embarking on a boat tour through the Stockholm archipelago, and trust me, this is a side of Stockholm you won't want to miss. Imagine this, thousands of islands, big and small, scattered like emerald jewels across a sparkling blue canvas. That's the Stockholm archipelago, a breathtaking natural wonderland just waiting to be explored. As our boat glides through the calm waters, you'll be treated to panoramic views of rugged cliffs, lush forests, charming villages, and maybe even the occasional lighthouse standing proud against the wind. The air is fresh, the sun is warm, and the only sounds are the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, and the cries of seagulls soaring overhead. This boat tour isn't just about sightseeing, it's about experiencing the archipelago like a true Swede. We're talking about hopping off at a secluded island for a picnic lunch, maybe even taking a dip in the refreshing Baltic Sea if the weather's right. Talk about a true escape from the hustle and bustle of city life, right? But for now, let's sit back, relax, and soak in the beauty of this natural wonder. Top 5. We're stepping into a world of grandeur and tradition at the Royal Palace of Stockholm, the official residence of the Swedish monarch. The Royal Palace is a sight unto itself, a massive Baroque masterpiece with over 600 rooms, ornate facades, and enough gold leaf to make even King Midas jealous. But it's not just about the bling, although there's plenty of that too. The Royal Palace is a treasure trove of history, art, and culture, home to everything from royal regalia and crown jewels to antique furniture, tapestries, and priceless works of art. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even catch the changing of the guard, a colorful and ceremonial spectacle that's sure to impress. But for now, let's just wander through the palace's grand halls, marvel at the intricate details, and imagine what life must have been like for the royals who once called this place home. Top 4. We're ascending to dizzying heights with Skyview, the unique gondola ride that takes you to the top of the Ericsson Globe, Stockholm's iconic spherical landmark. As you ascend, Stockholm unfolds beneath you like a giant three-dimensional map. You'll see the city's sprawling cityscape, its sparkling waterways, its lush green parks, and its charming islands, all bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. And hey, if you're really lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of the Royal Palace in the distance, its golden spire glinting in the sunlight. Now, I've been lucky enough to travel to some pretty amazing places, but there's just something special about seeing a city from above. It gives you a whole new perspective, a sense of scale and grandeur that you just don't get from the ground. But for now, let's just enjoy the ride, soak in the views, and maybe snap a few epic selfies for the gram. Top 3. We're leaving the hustle and bustle of the city behind and escaping to Djurgården, a tranquil oasis of green right in the heart of Stockholm. This sprawling park is like a breath of fresh air, a place where you can escape the crowds, reconnect with nature, and just chill out for a while. We're talking about strolling through lush forests, picnicking by the water, exploring charming gardens, and maybe even renting a bike and cycling along the scenic paths. And hey, if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even go for a swim in the crystal-clear waters of the Baltic Sea. But Djurgården isn't just about nature. It's also home to some of Stockholm's most popular attractions, including the Vasa Museum, Skansen, and several other museums and cultural institutions. So, whether you're looking for a relaxing afternoon in nature, a cultural fix, or a bit of both, Djurgården has something for everyone. But for now, let's just wander through the park's tranquil paths, breathe in the fresh air, and soak in the serenity of this urban oasis. Top 2. We're heading to Södermalm, the city's trendy and bohemian district, known for its vibrant nightlife, eclectic bars, and underground clubs. From cozy pubs with live music to sleek cocktail bars with rooftop terraces and underground clubs pulsing with electronic beats, Södermalm has something for every taste and every mood. We could start the night with a craft beer at a local brewery, sample some Swedish tapas at a trendy restaurant, catch an indie band at a dimly lit bar, and then dance the night away at one of Södermalm's many clubs. But Södermalm isn't just about partying, it's also home to a thriving arts and culture scene, with independent theaters, art galleries, and vintage shops tucked away on its charming streets. So, even if you're not in the mood for a wild night out, there's plenty to see and do in Södermalm after dark. But for now, let's just soak in the energy of this vibrant district, mingle with the locals, and see where the night takes us. Because tomorrow we're ending our Stockholm adventure on a delicious note with a visit to Östermalm Market Hall. Top 1. We're ending our Stockholm adventure on a delicious note with a visit to Östermalm Market Hall, a culinary institution and a feast for the senses. Imagine this. A grand indoor market, housed in a beautiful historic building with over 17 vendors selling everything from fresh seafood and cured meats to artisan cheeses, homemade pastries, and exotic spices. We could grab some freshly baked cinnamon buns for breakfast, sample some Swedish meatballs for lunch, and then indulge in a smorgasbord of seafood for dinner. And hey, we can't forget about dessert. We'll have to try some princess cake, a traditional Swedish layer cake with a dome of marzipan, and maybe even some cloudberry jam, a local delicacy. But Östermalm Market Hall isn't just about eating. It's a place to soak in the local culture. Watch the vendors prepare their specialties, and maybe even pick up some souvenirs to take home. So, let's grab our wallets, put on our stretchy pants, and get ready to experience the best of Swedish cuisine at Östermalm Market Hall. Let's quickly recap Stockholm, Sweden. Our whirlwind adventure through Stockholm, from exploring Viking history and modern art, to cruising the archipelago and indulging in Swedish delicacies. We've walked the cobblestone streets, soared above the city skyline, and experienced the warmth of Swedish hospitality. Don't miss out on these amazing experiences in Stockholm. This city will leave you wanting more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Subscribe to discover the world.